Alright, so, to begin with, a lot of people didn't like Death Proof, which was his last film, which was a part of the double feature Grindhouse. And I personally liked it. I also like Planet Terror, but I'm looking forward to this film because it seemed a little different from his usual Tarantino films. Anyways, the plot is that the film is set in Nazi-occupied France during an alternate history version of World War II. I'm sure you can tell that from the trailer. So Shoshana, a young Jewish girl, barely escaped alive when her family is killed by Nazi officers. And the leading officer in this raid is Hans Landa, and his nickname is the Jew Hunter. And a few years later, she starts a theater with her lover, and this theater essentially becomes the premiere for this new Nazi propaganda film that's coming out. And this is where she decided that she's going to start building a plot to get revenge against the Nazis for the death of her family. Meanwhile, there's another group called the Bastards, which is a group of Jewish Americans led by Aldo Rain, and they're going around France scalping and terrorizing Nazis. And they always leave one to tell the story. And they also have a plan to make revenge against the Nazis as well. And so, getting into the film, first of all, as you can tell from most Tarantino films, the dialogue is written very nicely. It works really well, and a lot of scenes, including the first scene, and there's a scene in the bar that works really well. And the thing about the dialogue is that it builds tension, and you're going to be like wondering who's going to break or who's going to so-called win the argument. And just to let you know, majority of the film is in subtitles with German and French. And that's definitely more than half the film is in subtitles, and that's obviously going to bother some people. When I started watching the film, I actually didn't like it, because this is basically stemming from from what I was expecting from seeing the trailer. But I realized about a little bit through that that this was an artistic decision that's probably going to make the film more effective. And the next good point about this film is the humor. Every time the Bastards is on screen, they're scalping, they're taunting Germans, and Brad Pitt is spouting ridiculous line in that funny accent, and he's actually really good in this film. And another thing they do is spurts in like very small scenes of something completely off topic into the film. For example, there's a scene where there are two characters being introduced, and there's a few seconds of them having sex, and they revert back to the film, and people couldn't stop laughing for about 5 minutes or so, and that's all they can put their mind to rather than the plot. And yeah, so there's scenes like that, and there's actually jokes that are actually pretty racist in that bar scene I was talking about earlier, and those scenes are really funny as well. Acting for the most part is well done, and the two key people that were really good in the film is Brad Pitt and Christoph Waltz, who played the Jew Hunter. And I personally didn't really I didn't really mind him, but I didn't think Eli Roth was that great in this film, and he seemed kind of out of place in some of the scenes. As for bad things about this film, the pacing is not the best. If you thought Death Proof was bad, this is quite a bit slower. The thing about this film is that, unlike the trailer, most of the film is dialogue driven, and there's very little action. In fact, all the action can be seen in the trailer, and even considering that, some of the action scene that was in the trailer is not even in the actual film. And because at first I was really enjoying this film, and because you see that first scene where I shouldn't say it anyways, and then you see the Bastards for a little bit, then you go into the Shoshana story, and that's when things get really starting to slow down, and it kind of got me bored. Another point that I want to make is that it's a 2.5-hour film, yet I felt the characters were underdeveloped. Like, apart from Aldo and some of the bastards, and actually the Jew Hunter as well, I didn't really care for any of the characters, because I didn't really care, like, whether they make it through the film or not. And I felt that was kind of a sad thing about the film, because at the beginning of the film they were explaining these some of the bastards by having the film freeze and the name popping up and doing a bit of a backstory, and I kind of wish they did that for more character in the film, because I thought that would make the character more developed. And so overall, this film is a matinee film for me, because I can't quite recommend it, although a lot of my friends have really enjoyed it. Like, they were saying that it was the best film they've seen this year, at least. But I'm sure Tarantino fans will enjoy this film, and yeah, please write down your comments of what you thought for the film and rate the video, and thanks again. Bye.